Now, we heard that a Project Tango phone would be announced this week, and Lenovo has delivered the announcement anyway. Not the phone just yet. Project Tango is Google's augmented reality technology, and Google says the Phab2 Pro will be the first to have it, and it will come out this summer. Now, this AR will be used for gaming and utilities, and it will allow users of the Phab2 Pro to see objects and information overlaid onto the real world. So you can measure objects or visualize furniture in space in your home. The Verge says you'll actually be able to buy the Phab2 at Lowe's home improvement stores. The giant Phab2 has a 6.4-inch display, Quad HD, and is powered by Qualcomm's Snapdragon 652 processor. What are your initial thoughts looking at this device, Iain?
Well, I have to say, initial thoughts are both good and bad. Okay. Firstly, they produced a credible phone with credible technology behind it, which is really good because Tango's been waiting in the wings, for so long now that we were starting to get slightly concerned that it was a bit of a sort of pipe dream. It does seem that like they've got the technology there from the software perspective in the demos they've done, but, and this is an enormous but, they're going to need to have they're going to have to find the killer app for this phone because at the moment, there's really not a lot of excuses out there to buy it. Now, virtual reality developers will love it because it'll make their life so much easier as a tool for developing apps for virtual and augmented reality. However, what you need is the software to actually persuade people to spend the money to buy it. Now, people like phones for a variety of different reasons, the fashion, the accessibility, the portability, whatever. Project Tango alone is not, to my opinion at least, a selling point for a particular phone. It's the software that you're going to run on it. And there's a job of work to be done to get something up there which everyone says, I must have. Looking at the video that you're playing now, I watched that and was utterly befuddled by it because you were just like, okay, they've got torches, they're running around. I kind of get the AR angle, but they're going about it in a very roundabout way. There's nothing there that would say, I must have this phone in the same way that, we've seen with other devices. So initially, good step, but it's going to now basically be down to the software and the implementation.
Yeah, the I must have this phone is so important now. I think more important than ever. You have to have that. I mean, people are not just like, oh, like that has one neat feature that I didn't have before. They really, I mean, they have to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, you remember when the iPhone came out, and I'm not an Apple fan, as you know, but I have to say, when I saw the iPhone UI, I was kind of like, and it was the same with the iPod to an extent. It was like, that's how it should be done. That's how phones should be dealt with in the future. That's how because I had media players for years before the iPod came out, and they were all horrible because of clunky user interface and bad hardware. When the iPhone and the iPod came out, it was kind of like, yes, okay, I'm getting one of those. Had to be done. Now with Tango is a useful feature. It can be a very handy feature in a lot of regards. But I don't see anything for a killer app there. As you said, they're putting it in Lowe's to try and, I think, show people how furniture would look in their bedroom. But, honestly, how often do you furnish your bedroom, and do you really need to buy a phone just for that? So it's good to have the hardware out there. It's good that it's finally coming onto the market because, as I say, this has been under development for years now. But, yeah, show me the killer app and then I'll be slightly more impressed.
Right. I mean, there were those games also. I think were you at the Google I/O where they were showing those off on the tablet that, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, they were okay. But, when Microsoft has done the same with HoloLens. You can play World of Warcraft, using your living room furniture. But, it's cute. It's not the kind of thing that is going to give your kids pester power to nag you into buying it for them, though. I don't see that they're going to be like sort of, oh, I must have this in the same way that, they would with other toys or pizza or stuff like that.
Right. And I don't know if it's a selling point to parents to like, here's this app that will always have your kids asking you to hand your phone over to them. And
yes. Yes. I mean, it's just like, you're not really winning me over on this one. It's just, I mean, I can understand why Google do it, why Google have done this. Tango is great in principle. And as we move towards an AR future, then it is going to be an increasing part of our lives. I mean, I think augmented reality is going to be much, much bigger than virtual reality, simply because you do have freedom of movement, you do have the ability to do other things, and it actually serves a useful purpose. VR strikes me as too much. You've got to sit there and absorb what's being fed to you, and you can maybe move around the room a bit, but you've got to be careful and the rest of it. So I think, yeah, it's an important step forward in bringing AR to the masses, but it's very early days yet. But good on Lenovo for getting the hardware out in a good, usable format.